Tonight we are going in depth with Governor Kevin-Stitt. He stopped by FOX23 today to speak unedited with me about various topics, including the recent firing of the State Forestry Service Director, a firing that's generated a lot of controversy. We are also going to talk about the start of the budget portion of session, in which Stitt is once again pursuing a tax cut. Joining me today in studio, unedited in his own words, is Governor Kevin-Stitt. Thanks for swinging by our way. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. It's so good to be with you.
I know a lot of people are talking about the Forestry Service Director firing, and I do want your perspective on it. He said he did the best he could. What was the decision behind that?
Well, first off, the state of Oklahoma employs a whole department, 130 forestry firefighters, and all year long. And so isn't it common sense that when we have a major disaster and a forest fire, that all those resources would be deployed to those fires? It's pretty common sense. When I find out that they're not deployed, there's something wrong. And so I'm going to hold people accountable. It was the worst in our state history. And after the aftermath, when they had a chance to get that fire out on Saturday and Sunday when the winds calmed down, and I find out they didn't have all the resources on there, it's super frustrating. The problem with government is nobody holds anybody accountable. Nobody ever gets fired for doing a bad job. And when somebody does a bad job, this governor is going to hold them accountable.
I was talking to our meteorologist about this. Yes, this was predicted, but we've never seen humidity levels this low. The wind has never been this high with humidity levels been this low. When does an act of God become a fireable offense?
Yeah, well, first off, they're not fired because an act of God or there was a forest fire. The fact that they didn't try, the fact that they didn't deploy the assets, the fact that they were not all resources hands on deck, that is where they let down the Oklahoma people. Furthermore, Blaine Arthur, the Secretary of Ag, trying to get information about where they were deployed, they're refusing to give her information. So I'm thinking about getting rid of all 130. Let's get rid of the whole forestry department. What do? Let's put those resources back to the local fire departments, back to the volunteer fire departments. Those guys were busting their tails all over the state, fighting fires. Where was the bureaucracy in Oklahoma City? They should have been there side by side fighting those fires. We can't even get answers from them. And I am not going to get off this issue till I find out where every single resource in the state of Oklahoma was during that major event.
One of the big critiques, though, is well, you're the governor. You should have deployed the National Guard. You should have done this. Do you have a role in this, being the CEO of the state of Oklahoma?
No, and I'm taking it very, very seriously. That's exactly what I'm doing. When we have a whole department that's supposed to fight fires, and I find out that they weren't there fighting fires, you're absolutely, Oklahomans want me to fire people, right? So the bureaucracy, of course, you're going to have people that don't like me that are going to go, oh, the governor's being so mean and blah, blah, blah. But most Oklahomans are like, thank goodness that somebody is holding the bureaucracy accountable. That's what the regular Oklahomans think, is you've got a governor that's actually asking questions, holding people accountable. It's no secret that Oklahoma is doing so well right now. We have the largest savings account we've ever had. We have more people moving to our state. We believe in limited government. And the bureaucracy is going to be held accountable under my watch. And that's what I'm doing. And of course, people are going to be making noise saying, oh, I did the best job I could. But the proof's in the pudding, and they won't even give us the information right now. Okay? And we're going to find that, and I'm going to share that with Oklahomans.
I do want to move on because one of the big issues, we are going into the budget part of session. You've been talking about tax cuts. I saw the whiteboard explanation. I actually enjoyed the tithing explanation before spring break. Do you think you're going to get a tax cut this year, or are we going to end up where we were last year, where you're like, okay, I surrender, but you need to give me these other things?
I really do think we're going to get a tax cut. Other states are doing tax cuts. Mississippi just did a tax cut. South Carolina just did a tax cut. My message to Oklahomans is call your senator, call your House member. The money doesn't disappear. The government, the bureaucracy is saying, oh, we're going to be cut all this money. No, that's the wrong question. Really, Oklahomans are going to be $240 million richer. And guess what? Every time we've given money back to Oklahomans, the economy expands, right? So we've got to do it. We've got to do it to limit the growth of government, but we also have to do it to keep up with the other states around us. We compete against Texas, and Texas is at 0. Arkansas just cut lower than us. Kansas just cut lower than us. Colorado's lower than us. Iowa, Nebraska, they all cut their income tax lower than Oklahoma. If we don't watch out, we're going to be considered a high-tax state, and I don't want that to happen on my watch.
I apologize if this next question's a little long. I think I have to set the table for this. I was speaking with a freshman lawmaker who actually ran on wanting to cut taxes with you. He's now seeing how the sausage is being made, if you will, and he said that he doesn't understand why the agencies that report to you are asking for budget increases. I even told my own family just a few weeks ago, I said, I feel like Governor Stitt is a pastor who is preaching about the dangers of lust and sins of the body, and then after the service is over, we make a beeline for the strip club. I don't get where the disconnect is here, where the administrators who report to you and the agencies that report to you continue year after year asking for more money.
Well, I would argue a little bit. I need to know specifics. I mean, Tim Gatz that runs Department of Transportation, they've asked for flat budgets. The people that report to me, as a general rule, have asked for flat budgets, right? It might be, very, very small, but they predominantly ask for flat budgets. Department of Corrections, Healthcare Authority. Those people that are reporting to me are asking for flat budgets. So I don't know exactly who you're talking about that's asking for more, but it might be marginally more.
Let me give you an example. DHS has a bill that just passed out of the House, $100 million in new spending. There were many conservative members who wanted answers on that, and they felt like they were told to shut up and go with it, and it'll be figured out later. Yeah. $100 million is a whole lot of money when you're cutting taxes.
Yeah. I'll have to get with DHS. I am 100% not supportive of that bill. Have no idea. There's no way that I would say let's spend $100 million more on DHS. Our counts are going down. We're leading the nation in adjudicated kids from the court right now, #1 in the country in OJA. Our foster care numbers are going down. We want to be top 10 in everything we do. I'm trying to encourage more churches, more nonprofits, more great Oklahomans to get involved in the foster care system. If we're asking for $100 million more, I don't think DHS is asking for that. That may be a legislator wanting that, but we're not doing that.
Sports betting, they've now whipped out the legislative referendum. I think the exact exchange on the floor is, do you want to remove the governor from the equation? He said, yes, I do. What are your feelings being left out of this?
That's a great question for Oklahomans. I'm glad you're asking that. So you have a situation right now that the governor, who represents the taxpayers of the state of Oklahoma, I've designed a sports betting program that is equal with all other states, right? Anybody can sign up to do statewide mobile betting. You pay $500,000 to the state. That's about what it is in other states. You pay the state 20%, okay? The tribes would have in their casinos, they would have a mobile betting, okay? They'd be allowed to do that mobily. And if they wanted to sign up for the statewide, they could do that. It's just a free market, okay? But instead, the tribes have come in to the legislature and said, run this bill that benefits us. That's not who I am as governor. I'll absolutely veto that. And then they're trying to do some kind of maneuvering to let it go to a vote of the people. If I veto it, you're trying to get a second look at it, and then they'll run a bunch of fancy ads and blah, 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 confuse Oklahomans. But the bottom line is, if we want a free market system that's like New Jersey and like Kansas and all these other states, I've already designed it and set it out there. But it's going to be fair for everybody, and the tribes can benefit too. If they wanted to do statewide mobile, they could do it. They just have to get in line with everybody else. They're not going to have a monopoly like they do today.
Before we go, I've got one more question. I know we're running out of time. We've got a lot of people running for office. Some people are running to replace you. I'm hearing all over the place, Kevin Stitt stabbing Donald Trump in the back. Donald Trump is not happy with Kevin Stitt, but you're the one going to his house. Has he actually said, Kevin, you're stabbing me in the back? No, there's a lot of people claiming to speak for Donald Trump, but it looks like you're the only one meeting with him.
Yeah, that's right. So. I have no idea who's saying that, but no, I've got a fine relationship with the president. I was in D.C. yesterday and met with Secretary Burgum, my good friend, who was the governor of North Dakota. Saturday morning, Kristi Noem called me, the Secretary of Homeland Security. I met with Lee Zeldin, the EPA director. Been to the White House numerous times. We're working on a big project coming into Oklahoma with President Trump. He's going to make a trip to the Middle East, and I went over there to recruit a company, so we're really, really excited about that. But no, me and the president are fine. He's doing amazing things, and you talk about when he fires somebody and he's trying to hold the bureaucracy accountable, they come out of the woodwork on him. So I know what he feels like. You're trying to hold people accountable, and people are making up stuff like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Let me tell you something. the sun will come up tomorrow if we don't have 130 people in the forestry department, and I take that money and I give it to our rural firefighters and I give it to our volunteer firefighters around the state that actually are doing the work on the ground.
Does it feel weird people are already running to replace you?
You know, no, this is the great thing about it. I mean, I'm excited. I'll tell you, it's early. It's super early. This time in the 2018 race, it would have been 2017, which is the equivalent year. Nobody knew who Kevin-Stitt was, right? Everybody thought a couple people were going to be the heir apparents. So really, stay till this summer. We're not even going to know who all is going to run for governor or who's going to run for attorney general or superintendent of education and all these different important roles. So a lot of times between now and this summer, and then we've got a year until the primaries. But this is the way the system works. I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be really fun for me to watch and help promote the next person and let Oklahomans know who I think the next person that succeed me should be. And it needs to be a business-minded person that really wants to hold the bureaucracy accountable and keep making Oklahoma top 10.
Governor, I'm out of time. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks so much, Rick.
Thank you.